Thank you. She has good energy.
She's good at what she does.
Yeah. She's got a great aura about her. Kind of person you want to entertain. All right, so this is the detention docket for the 323rd on September 2nd, 2020. In compliance with the Texas Supreme Court Order number 24 regarding the coronavirus, there are no in-person court proceedings, and so we are conducting this detention hearing on Zoom. However, to comply with the Texas Open Courts Act, we are broadcasting these proceedings on YouTube so the public may observe the court proceedings today. No portion of today's court proceedings may be recorded, broadcast, or copied or published. Violations of this order are punishable by contempt. So we're going to go ahead and start. Jamarion Howard. Hello, Mr. Howard. I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. The law says when a child is brought to a facility, you have to see a judge within 2 days. And you are listed, you're currently on supervision on this court until December of this year for the offense of terroristic threat of a public servant. And then you're here actually because you're a runaway. So, see, we put you on probation this year in June, and you were with a foster family in Dallas. So we tried to ask Dallas to supervise you, but because of coronavirus, there was a delay. On August 1st, you left the home without permission, showed up at JPS on the 4th as a gunshot victim. So after your discharge, you returned to your foster home in Dallas. And then last week, while with your foster father who stopped for gas at Forest Hill, you walked off. Foster dad reported the runaway to Forest Hill PD and said that you would rather live in a previous foster home in Forest Hill. Okay, so I guess you decided to go back to old foster. Forest Hill police located you after a homeowner contacted the police saying that Jamarion was there. Not sure why you were there, but you were there. At that time, OCOK caseworker at this time knows where you are, asked for an update on whether you can go back to the foster or if OCOK is going to place you somewhere else. So is OCOK here?
I think I saw her, Your Honor.
She was on. Yeah.
Carmen, are you the ad litem for this child?
I am.
So we appointed you, like you're on the CPS case as well?
Yes.
Okay, great. Good to see you, by the way, Ms. Johnson.
You as well.
All right. Still looking. Oh, Ms. Johnson, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. So my question is, what are we doing with Jamarion?
Right now, his placement still holds in Dallas with Mr. Bronson Lewis.
You said right now his placement is what?
He's still able to go back to Mr. Lewis's placement in Dallas.
Okay. All right. Well, Mr. Dotson, how has Mr. Howard been doing on probation? I know we were waiting for Dallas to pick up the supervision.
Your Honor, it's Dana, and I'm covering for Mr. Dotson. As far as I know, other than the runaway, we don't have any indication that he's violated probation.
What time do you close for lunch?
Okay.
Okay, well, I'll probably come in this afternoon. It'll be after lunch. I'm gonna try to do it before 3:30, but it won't be no later than that.
Dotson, could you, I don't know what that, thank you. Mr. Howard, you don't like Kimbo, do you?
No, sir.
I mean, is there anything about Kimbo that you like?
No, sir.
Is there any, no matter how bad your foster is there anything about Kimbo that's better than foster?
No, sir.
So I want you to understand what the law says. The law says is that I should detain a child if I feel like they're dangerous to themselves or to others. I'm really worried that you end up in a situation where you got shot. Okay? I mean, that should worry anybody. Is that fair to say?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So on one hand, I'm thinking I should keep you just to keep you out of situations with gun violence. Okay. On one hand, I'm saying I should let you go because I don't want you here. I think you're doing well on probation other than running away. So I should let you go back to the foster family. Right? You see where I'm going so far?
Yes, sir.
So all I have to know is if I release you, you're not going to run away. If I'm confident you're not going to run away, I have no problem releasing you.
No, sir.
Okay? Do I have to worry about you running away if I release you back to the foster home?
I'm not.
I'm
The only way I had ran away because I had wanted to go see my brothers now. And when I went to go see my brothers now, I went back to my old foster parent. And I told him, can you call my foster parent in Dallas? And when we called him, he didn't answer the first time, so we just waited until he answered. Then that's when the brothers called the police and told them to come get me.
right. So, Mr. Howard, do you understand that, like, since you're 16, you're not allowed to make that decision?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I'm not saying that you don't make good decisions, although there's some question about that, right? But that's not what I'm saying right now. I'm not saying that you can't take care of yourself, even though it's hard when you're 16. That's not my point right now. My point right now is the law is when you're 16 that other people make these decisions for you, okay? And that's just the way law is. Once you're 17, you can ask the court to emancipate you, or once you're 18, you're emancipated and you do it on your own. Okay, but do you understand for the next almost 2 years, you just can't make these decisions on your own?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can I trust you? I mean, we'll have this conversation right now. Can I trust you not to run away?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, here's the thing. You understand the position you're putting me in if you run away again, and we have to pick you up and bring you back here as a runaway, right?
Yes, sir.
And you understand that you're going to you're putting me in a spot, right?
Yes, sir.
And it's okay if you put yourself in a spot, but don't put me in a spot. Don't force me to hold you here because you keep on running away. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
If there's really problems there, Ms. Johnson's here to help. Ms. Johnson is one of those attorneys that will go above and beyond. She will lose sleep herself to help you if she can. Okay, she truly cares about helping you, but you got to communicate with her. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Ms. Johnson is trying. The other Ms. Johnson, Jasmine Johnson, right? She's going above and beyond to try and help you, but you got to communicate with her. Okay. At 16, you cannot make these decisions by yourself. Right. That's just the law. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So we're good. Like, I don't have to worry about you, right?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to trust you this time. All right. I'm glad you're not smoking weed while you're on probation. I'm glad you're not committing new offenses. But you understand, running away is one of those situations where I can detain you here just because I feel like you're a danger to yourself. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Howard. I'm going to go ahead and release you to OCOK.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Deja Huey. Remember this name. Okay. All right, Deja, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. The law says when a child's brought here, you have to see a judge within 2 business days. I have to decide whether to keep you or not. If I keep you, the law says you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent, and you have the right to an attorney. And for today, we appointed Mr. Willett as your attorney. All right, Deja, so I don't think you've been here before, but you have a history in Dallas. Let's see, in 2018, there's an injury to child or elderly or disabled with bodily injury that you were put on probation for. That was combined with 2 counts of assault public servant and evading arrest. And then they transferred, there's another aggravated assault of a family member with a deadly weapon from April of this year, which was transferred to Newton County. Mary, you know where Newton County is?
No, sir. I would look it up.
No? Do you know where Newton County?
Your Honor, I looked it up. It's down on the border of Louisiana and Texas, kind of
Okay,
that southeast corner.
sure.
Orange County's below it, Jasper's above it.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, so Deja, you see, police were dispatched to a group home for a reference to a resident acting out. CPS asked for officers to take Deja to JPS to be evaluated for her violent and destructive behavior. Refused commands, actively refused to be transported, tried to kick officers as they tried to cuff you. You were successful in kicking one officer in the leg, causing pain, and she spat in another officer's face. So she was transported here. Did we ever take her to JPS? Mr. Kroll?
No, we did not.
Okay. We have are you the parent or are you the CPS guardian?
No, I'm actually contracted on the state office of the state level of CPS. My name is Cynthia Smith. And I am very familiar with the entire case with Deja and everything that's going on with Deja since her discharge from the juvenile detention center on the 17th of July is when her actual placement took place. And she has had a total.
Detention center?
I'm sorry.
I'm missing a July date. Which detention center was she released from in July?
She was released from in Dallas.
Dallas, okay.
Yes.
Okay, for what offense? For the ag assault family member?
That's
Yes.
correct.
For the assault with the deadly weapon charge, she was detained there for 3 months for that charge. I did just forward to Mr. Kroll the common application with the details of her situation and with being detained. Since then, she has had multiple assaults ever since then. Most of them were dropped. I also forwarded him from August 11th from a nurse at the behavioral hospital with multiple assaults on the staff that they wanted to press charges with from August 11th that happened. She also has an assault that is pending as of last Sunday at JPS. She assaulted a nurse. She has a strong history of violence, a very strong history of assaults almost on a
So
daily.
when was she ever taken to Newton County?
She was not. We did have a Zoom. We have another Zoom scheduled for Newton County on September 19th with the judge. She was never taken to Newton County because they dropped the charges. The family dropped the charges. She was in close contact with that family.
Hold on a second. So she was adjudicated delinquent in Dallas County, transferred to Newton for disposition, and then Newton dropped the charges?
The family dropped the charges.
Okay, yeah, something's missing here.
Yes, the family dropped the charges.
Well, and so here, what part's missing is she was adjudicated, so that you can't drop the charges. She was adjudicated delinquent. I mean, it's too late to drop the charges, right? So I'm trying to figure out what's, okay.
Right.
There's a lot of history to work through on this one. I've really just started digging in and getting the information from them as they've stated. I do know the disposition was transferred from Dallas the end of July. So I don't know if they would have even had a setting for the initial disposition yet.
Okay. So how did she end up in Tarrant County? Is the group home?
Yes, the group home. She was placed in Dallas at a actual host home setting, foster care setting in Dallas, and she exhibited violent behavior and assaulting there. So she was then placed here in Tarrant County on the 17th of, hold on, let me make sure I have that date right. Actually, on the 21st, she was placed.
Of which month?
Of July. She was placed in Tarrant County on July 21st, 2020.
So what's her tie to Newton County?
That's
her birth.
Newton County. That's where she's from. She was removed at the age of 3.
So there's a pending CPS case out of Newton County?
No, that's her birth county. She was born in Newton County. She was removed at the age of approximately 3 years of age.
So is it PMC the department, or is it still, her parents been terminated?
Yes.
Okay, so what county did the termination happen out of?
She, out of Newton. And she has had multiple placements, a total of 34 placements since then. She was adopted by the Hueys, which gave her her name, Deja Huey. That is not her birth name. She was.
Where did the Hueys live?
The Hueys, if I'm not mistaken, they lived in Dallas as well.
So how long has Deja been living in Dallas County?
Deja has been under a family choice since July 17th. since her release from
When did the Hueys adopt Deja?
approximately the age of 6, and they sent her back to the back to CPS at the age of approximately 10.
Okay.
And she has been in multiple placements since then. She's been throughout Texas, so she's been to multiple placements in different areas.
Yeah, I'm not even sure why Newton County is still involved, but I mean, it is what it is.
Right.
All right, well,
She's been in Tarrant County now since July 21st, and that's where she is repeatedly having the assault cases where she assaulted one of her caregivers and hit her in the face with a stick. She threw rocks at the other one.
so what's your plan? What does the department want to do?
I was speaking to Mr. Kroll. I did speak with the state office regarding this. And we definitely want to just, leave it up to you of what, your recommendations will be. We really need to get some help for her because she is on a constant everyday basis assaulting individuals.
I mean, I get that. I guess she's assaulted. I'm receiving that message. The thing is so, there's various reasons why I can keep a juvenile here, but one thing I refuse to do is treat our detention center like an RTC.
Right.
Or like a secure RTC. And so I'm just not going to do that.
Right.
I don't mind keeping her short term if there's a bigger plan for the department.
It is. The bigger plan that I've spoken with the state office, who I'm contracted with, the bigger plan that we're trying to do is put her in a single home setting. The state of Texas have upgraded her from a 2-to-1 ratio to a 4-to-1 ratio due to the severity of her behavior. So the plan is to put her into a single family home with no other children and just the 4 caregivers.
Okay, how long will it take to find that?
That can take up to 30 days because there still has to be a home assessment done on that home, and the caregivers are already in place. It's just that there's a home assessment that has to be done on that home first through the state office of CPS.
And if I order an expedited home study, how long do you think it will take?
Well, the home has to be, that we have to make sure we have to get the home first to be able, because everyone is set up in actually apartments.
Okay, maybe I misunderstood. I thought you had said that there was a home was located. You just had to do the assessment.
No, it's not just the assessment. We have to get the home and an assessment has to be done on the home.
Okay, so you don't have a home yet.
Not for her, not with this fast of the emergency that we're doing, but I do predict that we can, get the home pretty fast for her.
All right, so I'm not open to the idea of 30 days.
I was also speaking with Mr. Kroll to see if it's possible that after her discharge here, if she can still proceed to JPS Behavior Hospital, due to that was the original part of the plan where she was on her way to before she caught the charges that she did currently.
And in all honesty, Mr. Willard, I'm sure she'd rather be at JPS than here.
Yeah, probably, I would think.
So can you tell me, does she have a mental health diagnosis?
Yes, her actual mental health diagnosis is actually just neglect as well as behavior. She's
Okay.
everything with her is just behavior. She does not have any IDD, no intellectual developmental disability or any of that. It's just severely behavior. She's an
Right.
intense level placement with CPS.
Was she prescribed any medication?
Yes, she is prescribed medications and Mr. Kroll has the list of medications.
Has she been taking it?
She refuses her meds at times, so she does refuse her medications at times. And yesterday was one of the days she did refuse her medications. She does not always take, she's not always in compliance with her medications.
This really sounds like she needs to be at JPS right now, because it seems like more of a medical issue than a criminal behavior issue. So, Mr. Kroll, what do you suggest we do?
Your Honor, the information I got today, medication was just adjusted 3 days ago. So we haven't even had a full 2 weeks of medication in our system. We do have a lot of psychotropic meds. We have lithium, we have bupropion. So we're on some heavy medication. At this time, I'm at a loss. Medication's there, treatment's there. We've got a lengthy history. If all these assaults that are true, I think we have more conduct disorder. And
Yeah, so I mean, my question is, do we want to keep her here and see if she can stabilize the medication, see how she does, or do you think we should just take her to JPS and admit her there?
I think 2 weeks here would give us a good idea of what we're dealing with.
Yeah. Mr. Willett, what do you think?
I haven't talked to her. I just got this case this morning.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, obviously she may not realize it, but I think you're right. She might want it to stay here more than go to JPS, but I don't know because I haven't spoken with her.
Deja, do you have a thought?
JPS.
You'd rather be at JPS?
My only concern is that she was just released from JPS 6 days prior, and then less than 24, 48 hours later, she was assaulting individuals again.
I understand, but she wasn't on her medication. Medication just got adjusted.
Well, they only adjust 2 of the medications to make them stronger, but she's been on a laundry list of medications, 12 psychotropic strong medications, the entire time of placement of July 17th.
Right. I honestly, so, I mean, I feel like here with Deja, what's happening is it's like we're walking around with a plate full of marbles. And every step we take, another marble falls off, and we're trying to rescue all these different marbles. There's too many moving parts on this, right? And so, like I said, I can't treat our facility like an well, I can, but I won't treat our facility like an RTC. I mean, if she needs medical help, she needs medical help. Ms. Kroll, let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead. If I have that back, Mary. I want to go ahead. Let's go ahead and take her to JPS, admit her there, and then we'll get me a DTA to issue so they call us and release her back to our custody whenever she's done with her. And then at that point, I can reassess. If Deja is doing well, she's nonviolent, she's following the rules, then we'll go ahead and release her back. But the department needs to start the search now. But I think this admitting her to JPS for now will start we'll buy you a little bit of time. Well, I guess I have the authority just to say, come pick her up, and y'all can't say no. I don't think that's very fair to you guys either. But more important than that, I don't think it's fair to Deja. I think we need to get her a chance to get her the right medication to give her a chance. So, all right, Deja, and here's the deal. If you're at JPS and you're really having problems there, don't strike out at people, all right? Don't use physical violence. The problem is you're looking at commitment, okay? And I don't want you to get committed. I don't want you to go to TJJD. I don't want you to eventually go to TDC, which is adult prison. Let JPS know that, hey, you really think you need to come back to Kimbo, all right? And we can see what we can do to make arrangements. But when you're back here, you can't hit the people here either. You know that, right? And so you got to find a nonviolent way to deal with your situation, right? A lot of situations I don't like, but I try to find a way that's less intrusive on other people. Does that make sense? Like if I have problems, I want to deal with the problems in a way that it doesn't create a problem for somebody else. Hopefully that makes sense a little bit. All right. So, all right. So Ms. Kroll, let's go ahead and take her to John Peter Smith and admit her. Hopefully she can get help there and get stabilized. And then when she's done, she can come back here. And then at that point, pretty soon thereafter, just so the department knows, whenever she's brought back here, we'll have another detention hearing within 2 days. Okay. So Mr. Kroll will be giving you a call whenever that happens. Deja, please, please, please don't pick up any more cases or make this worse for yourself. Okay.
Sure.
Make your attorney's job. You got a good attorney. The thing is no matter how good of an attorney Mr. Willett is, if you keep on picking up new cases, no attorney in the world can rescue you. You see what I mean? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nicholas Martinez. It's not even a plate full of marbles. It's a plate with 3 marbles on it. And you're trying to bounce all 3. 37.
Judge,
Yes.
Marco's family speaks Spanish. They're on their way in. I think Mr. Nava's going to go in to translate for them.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Nava. Where's the child? Oh, there we go. Hello, Mr. Martinez. I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. The law says when you're brought into our facility, you have to see a judge within 2 days, and I have to decide to keep you or let you go. If I keep you here, the law says you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You do have a right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, I'll provide one for you. All right, so Mr. Martinez, you've never been here before. You're 15 years old.
Sir.
On August 10th, about 6:30, police were dispatched. For a warrant, 3 victims told the officers they were walking to a Sonic when they were jumped by 3 suspects. They began to follow and talk to the victims. One of the suspects asked if he wanted to buy weed and showed them the weed. Victims said no and continued walking. They knew one of the suspects, Nicholas Martinez, who was a student of Saginaw High School. So they provided a description of the other 2. 3 suspects walked away, but they caught back up with the victim saying that they're going to Sonic 2. At this time, suspect 2 punched victim 1 in the face, knocking him to the ground. He continued to punch him and took his money and cell phone. Simultaneously, the other 2 victims were assaulted with a closed fist, hit in the body and face by Nicholas and suspect 3. Then they took the victim's belongings and backpacks with items inside. The victim fought off the suspects, leading them to a nearby apartment. A week later, people contacted the principal of Saginaw High School, confirmed Nicholas was a student, matched the description, so they got a warrant. Huh? All right, Nicholas, it is absolutely unacceptable to use force to take property. That's actually absolutely unacceptable to take other people's property without their consent. When you use force, it just makes it worse. I'm just not comfortable releasing you. I think you're a danger to yourself and to others. All right, Canberra Pryor, Somerville. Like, how do you rob people you go to school with? Think you're not going to get caught? Like, this is, well, I guess the question is, how do you rob people not think you're going to get caught? I mean, it has nothing to do with school. All right, Cameron, Somerville. All right, Cameron, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. When your kid was brought here, you have to see a judge within 2 days. I have to decide to keep you or release you. If I keep you here, then you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. I think you and I have had this conversation before. I recognize your face. You have a right to an attorney, and you have a right to remain silent. All right, so Cameron, you're 16 years old. This all started when you're 13. No, started when you were 14 with an evading arrest. You got probation for, but at the same time, you're arrested for burglary of a vehicle, engaging in organized crime, So while the case is pending, we had to bring you in a couple times for violating your release terms. Then you were placed on probation. Then you had a couple more violations of your terms. And so while you're on probation, you get arrested for evading arrest. Wait, no, these are the same ones. So you're currently on probation until June of 2023. All right, so last week we got a message saying you're going to be unsuccessfully discharged from placement. We placed you at Clarinda to address your anger issues, substance abuse, and family issues. A couple days ago, you were discharged from Clarinda, referred to back to us. While you're at Clinda, you couldn't follow the rules, assaulting peers, threatening both staff and peers, walking off dorm without permission, while influencing peers to follow. Due to these negative behaviors, you had to be physically restrained on several occasions. So Mr. Lockhart, he is on probation for evading arrest?
Yes, that's correct.
All right, well, wait, so there's a pending aggravated robbery?
No, that charge was dismissed. I'm looking at the system right now.
Okay, well. Tell you what, Cameron, I can't do anything. I can't send you to TJJD on the misdemeanor. So at this point, you couldn't successfully complete treatment at Clarinda. We'll go and start another placement search. I'm going to detain you until you're placed somewhere. This is the deal. I told you this. It's like, just get through Clarinda, do your program, do your things. You get back out on probation. But if you're not going to do that, then I just keep you here until your next placement. All right. Please don't pick up a charge while you're here. Thank you.
Thank
Philip
you.
Torres.
Yo. I can.
All right, Mr. Torres, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. Law says when a child's brought here, you have to see a judge within 2 days. I have to decide whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you here, you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. All right, Philip, you are 14.
Yes, sir.
Everything started when you were 11 with the possession of a weed case. And then you turn 13, you get an assault of a peace officer or judge, which you got deferred prosecution for. And so now Forward PD brought you in. They're saying yesterday around 10:30 in the morning, police were looking for burglary suspects when they observed a Tahoe with the windows down. When he passed the vehicle, he saw occupants moving around after noticing the officer, making it appear as if they were trying to conceal something, which merely means they had no chill. Officer followed the vehicle, tried to make a traffic stop, pulled into an apartment complex and stopped. And they saw one individual identified as Philip holding a pistol that he tried to conceal in a bush. All the other occupants of the vehicle had gone inside an apartment. They detained Philip, retrieved an AK-style pistol. He was taken into custody. And he's positive for weed. Is the deferred prosecution done?
Yes, Your Honor, he completed it.
Okay, good. Well, good for him. I wish he had learned his lesson. All right, Philip, well, I mean, marijuana is an ongoing problem with you. Here's one thing about weed, right? It may not be as bad as a lot of people make it out to be, but it doesn't make you smart, right? Nobody's ever been out there and said, I want a Nobel Prize because I smoke weed, right? So that just may be a factor or something to think about. Anyways, my thing is when kids are with guns, I just don't tolerate that. I have a big problem with that. I believe our community has a problem with that. So Judge Kim's standard is if a kid has a gun, I detain you at least for a little while to figure out where you are and whether it's safe to release you or not. So I'm going to go ahead and detain you. All right. Thank you, Philip.
Thanks, Judge.
Thank you. All right. So at this point, all we have are 10-day detention hearings. Judge Porter will take over this detention hearing, and then I will return for the under 14-year-old. All right. Thank you. Judge Porter?
All right. Thank you, Judge Kim.
Thank you.
Charles Turner.
How you doing?
Good. How are you, Mr. Turner?
Not so good.
Uh-oh. Well, my name's Judge Porter. This is a detention hearing. The law says when you're brought into detention and detained initially, you have to see a judge every 10 business days. This is your 10-day hearing. You have the right to remain silent and not say anything at all. If there's something you want to say, please do not just shout it out. Instead, move your hand back and forth like this. That'll get my attention. I'll create a private internet chat room for you and Mr. Berger, your attorney, to talk about what you want to say. That way he can advise you on whether or not you really should say it. Anything you say today cannot be used against you at an adjudication, disposition, or modification hearing, but it can be used against you at a future detention hearing. So, Mr. Carl, what brings Mr. Turner to court today?
Your Honor, this is actually a Form 3 hearing. He has 3 felony warrants out of the state of Kansas. Kansas has been notified. They are working on their requisition packet at this time, waiting on the requisition packet. I believe his attorney has some concerns as well.
All right. Mr. Turner, we are going to reset this case at 2 o'clock this afternoon so that we can give your attorneys and JPD some time to get some additional information. And so you and I will get to see each other again at 2 o'clock. How's that sound?
It sounds good. Is my mom here?
She is here. I'm not sure where she is in the building, but I know she has been here today, and I know she'll be back here at 2 o'clock. Is that correct, Mr. Crawl?
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. I'll see you again at 2 o'clock, Mr. Turner. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Ernesto Villa has waived, and so I need Victor Alvaredo.
Alvaredo, he's waived. You can go back.
Judge Porter,
Yes.
did want to make you aware that Tiffany Perkins, sister of the victim, is present for this hearing online.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shipley.
Yes, sir.
Who's here for the state on this one?
I do not know, Mr. Youngblood. There's Mr. Reed.
I'm here for detention hearings.
Okay, I don't know if he knows it, but I have heard from Mary Kelleher and gotten a certification petition, which is brand new.
It is my understanding that the certification hearing is scheduled for September 24th. Is that correct, Mr. Reed?
I don't believe it's my case, Judge.
I think that's right.
It's Kevin Boneberg's case. All right. Are you Mr. Alvaredo?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Alvaredo, my name is Judge Porter. The law says when you're brought into detention, you must see a judge every 10 business days. This is your 10-day hearing. You have the right to remain silent and not say anything at all. You also have the right to an attorney. Mr. Youngblood is your attorney. He is here to help you and advise you. Ms. Castillo, I'm going to make this quick. He is level 1-0 in the back and has been since August 17th. However, Mr. Alvaredo, you are charged with murder. And additionally, your certification hearing is scheduled for before Judge Kim in about 3 weeks. The underlying facts of this particular offense are just too scary. The court cannot be certain with your history and the facts of this offense that if you were released, that you would not be a danger to yourself or others. And so on that basis, the court will order that you be detained. Thank you, Mr. Alvaredo.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Was Mr. Alvaredo's mother present, Your Honor?
Yes, she is right there in the red shirt.
Oh, okay. Hi. All right. I have heard that she's frustrated with the lack of progress, and I encourage her to give me a call.
Mr. Youngblood, your concerns and the family's concerns about the delay in this case have not gone unnoticed, and they're valid. I think both myself and Judge Kim have repeatedly warned the state that they're encroaching on Barker versus Wingo, and so they may want to take that into consideration.
Mr. Youngblood, the number that the department has listed in our system is not correct. It's your old number prior to you moving to a different office.
I'm
And
embarrassed for you that is still true. Who do I need to talk to? I've talked to everybody I can think of.
I believe Mary or Stephanie would be the ones to put that in there.
They
That
say
way-
they fixed it, but let me give you the
Okay.
number, ma'am. 817-236-4242.
Thank you, Mr. Youngblood.
Okay, did you get that, ma'am? Okay, please call.
Thank you.
Thank you for putting up with that, Judge Porter.
Not a problem. This is important. So, all right, Jada Alvarez-Goodrich. Is she here? Do not see her on the screen. Here she comes.
There she go.
Good morning, Ms. Alvarez. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing fine.
My name's Judge Porter. We've met before. This is a detention hearing. Law says when you're brought into detention and initially detained, you must see a judge every 10 business days. This is your 10-day hearing. You have the right to remain silent and not say anything at all. You also have the right to an attorney. Your attorney, Mr. Berger, is here to advise you and help you through this. If there's something you want to say, please do not shout it out. Instead, move your hand back and forth like this. That'll get my attention. That will also get Mr. Berger's attention. I'll create a private internet chat room for you and Mr. Berger to talk about what you want to say. That way he can advise you on whether or not you really should say it. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Anything you say at this hearing cannot be used against you at an adjudication, disposition, or modification hearing, but it can be used against you at a future detention hearing. Mr. Howard,
Yes, sir.
does Jada have, is her mom here today?
Yes, she is. She's posted right there with the Galaxy A50 symbol.
Okay. Jada's been level 1-0 since August 22nd.
Also, excuse me, Your Honor. Also, I have CPS is available to Ms. Stevenson.
All right. Oh, good. Thank you, Ms. Stevens, for being here. So, Mr. Howard, what brings Jada back to court?
Your Honor, on the 19th of August, Jada was referred into custody by Fort Worth PD for the offense of continuous violence against the family. According to the police report, Jada and her mother were in a physical altercation after an argument. Mother reported that while addressing bedtime issues, youth refused to comply with mother. Therefore, mother got a belt to discipline Jada, but Jada started to back up and dodged the belt. Mother then grabbed Jada by the shirt so that she could discipline Jada without her moving out the way. While disciplining Jada, she started to push and swing her arms around to get mother to move back. During this, Jada scratched her mother's arm. When mother stopped disciplining Jada, she threw Jada's shoes to the side, and Jada then pushed her mother with both her hands, causing her to move backwards and almost losing her balance. Mother was offended by the contact. Jada was transported to Tarrant County Juvenile Service, Your Honor.
Ms. Stevens, what kind of help can CPS provide Jada right now? Uh-oh, Ms. Stevens is stuck.
She might have froze. Yes, she might have froze. Your Honor, I know that Ms. Stevenson informed me that they had a meeting this morning, JCM meeting, and I know her and the mother have been in agreements, I guess, with moving forward with possibly looking for placement for her. I'm uncertain to be sure. I wish she could, talk about it more, but hopefully she could get back on.
Okay. Let me go out and check on Mr. Berger as well.
Okay.
Mr. Berger's missing. Yeah, we're on Jada now. Yeah. Yeah, we're on. Steven, yeah, she's here. Okay. You get on. Okay, good. Sorry, no problem. All right, Mr. Berger, while we're waiting on Ms. Stevens to get back, what are some alternatives we have?
Can you hear me, Judge, first of all?
Yes, sir, great.
Okay. Judge, I've spoken with both the grandparents, one in South Carolina, one in Fort Worth, and they were very clear in no uncertain terms that they were not willing to assume custody under any circumstances. And I did tell that to Jada.
Okay. Do we know where CPS is at, what stage of investigation and help they can provide?
I think Mr. Howard probably answered that question better.
Well, I let Mama's trying to say something too, Your Honor, with that, of course. But
Mike, is it okay if I ask Jada if she wants to go home today?
Absolutely, Judge.
Jada, do you want to go home today?
Yes, sir.
You do?
Yes, sir.
You do. Okay. I wasn't expecting that answer.
me neither.
Okay.
I'm trying to get Mother to unmute her phone currently right now. Mom, I need you to unmute your phone.
Okay, there it goes. Hold on. Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Miss Stevenson, she had just texted me. She was in it in the hearing as well. She said that they had had a meeting for JMC, like Mr. Howard was telling you, where a joint conservatorship where they're able to place her and offer their assistance. But she's already been out to the house and did the whole investigation and things. So she was just speaking with the management, and they were trying to come up with a solution. And I did contact an agency that she told me, and I was able to get some references for her and other resources, and I provided that to her in email the other day.
So at bottom here today, we don't have an appropriate place for Jada to go to yet.
I'm not sure if Ms. Stevenson was gonna tell you that at this point, because she said she was gonna speak about it in detail during this hearing, and I just texted her. She hasn't responded as of yet if she was coming back in, but I know she was trying to hold on and wait until we actually reached Jada.
All right, she's trying to get back in now. All right, Ms. Stevens.
I had internet issues. I had none until just now. So I apologize for the frustration.
What kind of help can CPS provide to Jada in this case?
Basically, we are looking at allowing Jada to use one of our placement beds while also providing services to the family to assist with the family reunification at, we're looking at potentially 3 to 6 months of some type of treatment as recommended by basically family members that I've been in contact with all feel that Jada needs to be in a very structured type environment. They feel that she's a danger to herself and her siblings as well. There's concerns with internet access for her because she tends to misuse it to get in contact with, males and bring them to the house, which is a very serious concern for the well-being of the siblings as well. So we are looking to definitely help the family and help this child.
So let me go back to my very original question. What kind of services can CPS offer Jada today?
Today, I do not have anything in place today, Your Honor.
That answers my question. All right, thank you so much. Jada, I need CPS to find an appropriate place for you. CPS, you have until 2 weeks from today. That's your deadline. I want you back here. Let's see, today is the 2nd. I want you back here on Wednesday, the 16th, with some place that's appropriate that can meet her needs, that would be appropriate for me to release her to, assuming, Jada, you maintain level 1.0 between now and then, okay? Yes, ma'am.
Is it okay if they do find something before that, can they do a detention hearing?
Yes, ma'am, you sure can. Mr. Berger, if they find something sooner than that, would you bring it to the court's attention and we'll get that taken care of post haste?
Immediately, Judge.
Because Jada, I want you out of detention, assuming you keep your behavior level where it's supposed to be. And you're pretty good about that for me. I want you out of there as soon as possible and in a place where you can get some help, okay?
Okay.
I want to make that as fast as I can for you, all right? All right, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, and then Raphael Bonilla. You Raphael?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Bonilla, my name is Judge Porter. The law says when you're brought into detention, you must see a judge every 10 business days if you're initially detained. You have the right to remain silent and not say anything at all. If there's something you want to say, please, 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 please do not just say it. Instead, move your hand back and forth like this. That'll get my attention. That will also get your attorney's attention. I'll create a private internet chat room for you and Mr. Adler, your attorney, to talk about what you want to say. That way he can advise you on whether or not you really should say it. Anything you say at this hearing cannot be used against you at an adjudication or disposition hearing, but it could be used against you at a future detention hearing, and most certainly the state will try and use it some other way. And you don't want to help the state. All right. We all know the underlying allegations that have resulted in Mr. Bonilla being brought into detention. He has been level 1-0 since yesterday. Ms. Guerrero, anything else that the court needs to consider at this time?
Just that his evaluation, Judge, is scheduled for the 18th and court is scheduled for the 2nd of October.
All right. Mr. Adler, is that enough time between the evaluation and the court hearing for everything, for you to have everything you need?
Judge, things are kind of changing now. Ms. Guerrero and I can't even get a hold of the family. So I think I'm going to see Ms. Guerrero on Friday. If neither one of us has spoken to the family, we're going to have to make a CPS referral. So that if you do release him, CPS then has to take some kind of temporary custody, I guess, if the aunt and the mom have truly kind of disappeared on us here lately.
I will be here all day from 8 until 5 on Friday. So if that is the case, y'all let me know and I'll do whatever I can to help you out.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Judge.
Ms. Guerrero, Raphael doesn't have a mom or aunt here today?
That is correct.
All right. Two things, Raphael. First, I don't have a parent or guardian to release you to today. Second thing is, before I can release you, I need to be convinced that if I were to release you, you would obey the rules, right? And we've talked about your levels before. What do your levels need to be at?
1-0.
All right. You know what you need to do, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. For today, I got to order that you be detained. That will be the order of the court.
Thank you, Judge. I'll see you Friday.
Thanks.
Thanks.
All right. At this point, we are done with the 10 days. Please do not bring in the next child.
Thank you.
And I will turn things back over to Judge Kim.
All right, thank you, Judge Porter. So, as stated previously, these proceedings are being broadcast over YouTube under the Open Courts Act for people to observe court proceedings. However, according to Texas Family Code, Chapter 54.08C, any court proceedings involving a child under the age of 14 is presumed to be closed to the public unless the interests of the public or the child would be served by allowing the public to observe. So, not being able to find that is in the best interest, I'm going to go ahead and discontinue this broadcast on YouTube. I'm going to wait 20 seconds to burn off the recording for the delayed broadcast to catch up.
Make sure the phone's off.